If you are having problems captivating the attention of your man, or any man, and getting him to commit more of his time, energy, and resources to you, or even ask you for exclusivity or marriage, then that simply means that you haven't done what it takes to trigger the part of his brain that instinctively makes him feel love, commitment, and irresistibly compelled to pursue a woman until he catches her. Because once his primal drive gets set into motion, his instincts take over, and he's suddenly convinced that you're the one woman he can't live without. And he'll move mountains to catch you and keep you forever. But if you don't know what it takes to wake up this type of driving devotion, he'll keep going on autopilot, casual, non-committal, hard to read, and heartbreaking. As a love coach and a woman who has seen it in my own life, let me assure you, your guy, like every guy, has specific triggers that when activated will turn him into the most heartwarmingly devoted man. The triggers are there, they definitely exist, which is why it is crucial for you to discover what they are. Because as a woman, your happiness is tied to your relationship security. It's your primal desire to find love, feel cherished, and have a commitment you can count on. And if you don't know how to activate a man's drive to give you these things, you're destined for heartbreak and at danger of losing him to a woman who does. Hi, my name is Hannah Hartwell, and if you want to attract the man that you're meant to be with forever, create an unbreakable physical and emotional bond, and get him feeling so addicted to you that he begs you for commitment, then I'd like you to stop whatever else you're doing right now and come along with me on a journey to the part of a man's brain developed millions of years ago that is like his emotional puppet master, the wizard behind the curtain, controlling his subconscious mind and primal desires, including the woman he falls in love with, pursues, and commits to. I want you to think of this part of his brain as your new best friend, because it is here in this primal brain of his where you will discover the answers to all of the questions about men that have been plaguing you for so long. Questions like, why isn't he calling me back? Is he just using me? Will he ever commit? What does he really want? When will we take this relationship to the next level? Why don't men see me as marriage material? How can I stop feeling so insecure around him and stop walking on eggshells? Is he out of my league? Should I play hard to get? When can I finally stop playing games, let down my walls, and have a man love me for me? Will I have to just settle? What's the secret of those women who seem to find love so easily? Will I ever figure out this part of my life, or am I destined to keep failing at love and end up alone forever? If you feel resonance with any or with all of these questions, trust me, you're definitely not alone. I used to be in the exact same spot that you're in, and then I made an amazing discovery that transformed everything. I'll tell you in a minute, but just let me assure you, all of these questions do have an answer, and all of your problems with men have a solution, and the secret lies in his primal brain. So come along now to meet your new best friend and learn how to give it exactly what it needs so that it finds you not only irresistible but indispensable to his life and happiness. First, let me warn you, this free presentation is very revealing, which is why it probably won't be up for long. And the secrets that I'm about to share here are so powerful that you will want to give it your full attention. They will help you to understand the mystery behind men and get you started on the journey that ends in true love. This isn't about sneaky tactics or games that some books teach. Some of these games might trigger his hunting instinct and make him chase you for a while. But hunting and committing are two different things to a man. If you only trigger the hunter side of his brain, he will walk away once he's made his kill. Has this ever happened to you? To win at the game of love, you must know the primal triggers that captivate his heart. And when you do, it will literally make you the only woman he thinks about, not only for the night, but for the rest of his life. No sneaky tactic will ever do that, but there is a step-by-step process that will. This also isn't just about understanding men. Understanding is the first step, but then what do you do with the information once you have it? How do you use it to get him to call you back, open up his heart to you, and want to spend more and more of his time with you until it hits him that you're the one and only woman for him? Information is great, but you deserve more. You need a plan that will get you results. The good news is that as a woman, you already have everything that you need right now to naturally inspire him to pursue you. The bad news is that if you're like most women, you have no idea what the exact process is that takes a man from attraction to love to wanting exclusivity and marriage. And in fact, you might even be doing things right now that are sabotaging your chances to ever get his love. Now, haven't you ever wondered about those women who make it look so easy to get love and commitment from men? Their relationships are smooth sailing. Their men worship the ground they walk on, and in fact, all men seem to flock to them wherever they go. They usually aren't the prettiest, smartest, or even best dressed women in the room, yet they seem to hold some sort of magical power over men. Wouldn't you like to have the same power to make men crazy about you? After closely studying these women, I can tell you exactly what they're doing. They just happen to be naturals at triggering certain primal signals in a man's brain. But even if you aren't a natural right now, you can learn to do it too. And when you do, you will transform from the girl he's dating to the goddess he adores, and your history with men will change forever. The secret lies in understanding two crucial things: what the commitment process looks like to a man's brain, and the specific things his brain seeks out in a woman before it activates his signal to mate and commit. Let me explain. First, a man will not desire commitment until he is triggered to do so. Men are not hardwired like women to want commitment from the get-go. Now, before you go thinking all men are jerks and only want one thing, or that no man really wants love and commitment like a woman does, just go look at the countless romantic marriage proposals on YouTube to remind yourself that this simply isn't true. Yes, every one of those men probably did tell some other woman that he just wasn't ready to settle down, and he probably even believed it himself at the time. But this is only because that woman didn't activate his primal drive to commit. Because once he met the woman who did trigger this signal, the one that told him, "This woman satisfies my primal needs and she has now become indispensable to my life and happiness," he turned from a non-committal man to publicly sharing his love with the world. Yes, it is in a man's primal nature to select one woman as his mate and then do everything to cherish, protect, and make her happy. But only once his primal brain has been triggered to make her his woman. Secondly, and this is crucial for you to understand, he values different things than you do in a relationship. Because if you don't, you'll give him what you value, not what he values. And he will not feel the irresistible urge to move forward and claim you. Here is just one important example. While women crave love and appreciation, on a primal level, men crave respect and admiration. Women who don't understand this often make gestures to show love to their man, because love is what they value, but that by him are seen as disrespectful and therefore push him away. And sadly, these women never know what went wrong. Has anything like this ever happened to you? Now just imagine for a second the joy of having a man who you know adores you and gives you priority over everyone else in his life. The freedom of being completely yourself around him and knowing that he cherishes you just as you are. The security of knowing exactly what it takes to keep him devoted to you and that you hold the keys to your relationship bliss. The relief of feeling that you finally get this, that it isn't hard anymore, that love is natural and easy. This can be you. You just have to learn what his triggers are and how to activate them in a way that makes sense to him, and he will turn from a frog into a passionate prince. Have you ever seen this type of transformation in a man? It really is something wonderful to experience. And as a natural-born woman, you have everything it takes. You might be wondering, how do I know all of this? Again, my name is Hannah Hartwell, and while I've been a love coach for a while, I still always had this nagging feeling that the issue of men remained a mystery. I could coach people to treat each other better, but there seemed to be some crucial information that I just wasn't grasping. So when the man that I loved started pulling away from me again, and that old insecurity and desperation took hold, something finally snapped in me. I felt the last straw. I could not and would not go through the pain of heartbreak again. I got determined to finally learn the secret to be successful with men, or I knew I'd be destined to suffer for the rest of my life. Now, I'm a bit of a nerd and slightly obsessive, so I approached this issue of men and love with a single-minded fervor. I studied like a Harvard PhD student on Adderall, reading book after book, poring over psychological and scientific studies, watching relationship seminars, and observing what was working for other women in the real world, the type of woman I call naturally irresistible. Then I calmed down a bit and started putting what I learned into practice. And slowly but surely, I started getting results. Men started treating me like I was some sort of special creature. I felt more feminine and sexy, and I could even sense my own allure. I was beginning to feel like one of those naturally irresistible women I had studied so carefully. But then I came across a report that literally changed everything. It wasn't even about love, but rather a study by social scientists about our primal roles in society and how human brains were still working according to an ancient tribal context, which has nothing to do with our modern-day environment. As I read it, I felt the hair stand up on the back of my neck. It was explaining exactly why men and women are complete mysteries to each other. Then I read one sentence and it went through me like a lightning bolt. Suddenly, incredibly, everything made sense. I finally saw for the first time ever what had really been going wrong in all of my relationships, in all of my friends' relationships, right there in front of me in black and white. It was the one sentence that changed my entire life with men. I couldn't wait to put this newfound knowledge into action. And when I did, that's when I realized that I had found the secret sauce, that one missing piece that made everything fit. I had gone from an insecure woman who was just guessing about men to knowing exactly what it takes to get any man to open up to me, cherish me, love me, and feel an overwhelming desire to make me his. All by understanding his basic primal needs and how to activate specific primal triggers. As I tested it out, I realized that it was like I had been granted secret powers. I had to be careful to actually stop men from falling for me. And my special man, who had grown distant and withdrawn, quickly came back, more loving than ever, and the appreciation that he poured on me melted away all of the coldness between us. With my newfound insights, our problems just faded away. It's like we were two different people, living the relationship we both always dreamed of. It turns out he wanted love just as passionately as I did. It just took learning what his primal heart needed and giving it to him in a way that he understood. And deep down I knew that I had finally cracked the code. This one simple shift in perspective gave me a powerful secret weapon. The insight was so simple, and yet I never would have figured it out on my own. Not in a million years. It truly felt like I had been granted my wish, like I could finally see after being blind for so long. Now, because I'm a love coach and a slightly obsessive nerd, it wasn't enough just to have this one incredible insight. After all, it was tightly tied to everything else I had learned. For my clients to really get it, I had to explain it in an actionable system that put everything into context. Piecing together everything I had discovered, observed, and tested, it quickly became clear that there are 7 primal triggers that set into motion a man's desire to pursue and commit to a woman, and which will ensure his passion and commitment over the long run, too. You might be wondering about that one sentence. Well, it is the principal insight that my entire system is built on, and it has been so valuable to me that if somebody were to ask me how much I would be willing to pay again to have this one understanding in my life, I will honestly tell you that I would pay over $1,000 just to keep this one bit of knowledge in my brain. It literally changes everything. With this insight as the basis, relationships make sense, and men are made easy. It can change everything in your relationships with men too. I get really excited about it. When I shared this insight and my 7-part system with some clients and close girlfriends, the ones who were always having problems with men, they got results that were even more incredible than mine. By just learning this one eye-opening principle, making a few changes in their lives and in how they communicated with their men, I saw my beautiful but clueless with men friends turn into total man whisperers, which is when it really hit me that this is information that every woman who wants to have love and success with a man needs to know. So if you are one of the women watching this who wants to take your relationship to the next level, finally figure out what it takes to be successful with men, and get the edge over almost every other woman on the planet, circle the date. Today is the day that everything changes for you. Because for a very special group of first-time users, I am lifting the veil and allowing limited access to my step-by-step program. The Paleo Love Plan. 7 primal triggers to make you the only woman he wants and become